The relentless search for the elusive Oak Island treasure continues. Rick and his team have intensified their efforts, driven by a deep desire to uncover the secrets buried beneath the island. Through tireless drilling, digging, and careful examination of every clue, artifact, and intriguing piece of evidence, they've unearthed discoveries even more astonishing than they imagined. Have the Lagina brothers finally uncovered the legendary hidden cave filled with treasure? Could the search at last be nearing its end? Join us as we explore the latest fascinating developments on Oak Island. Ceramic discoveries on Lot 5. While investigating Lot 5, the team realizes the area may not have been a home site as previously believed, but rather a place where items were deposited, much like the money pit. They begin excavating a circular hole outlined by stones, marked long ago by the island's previous owner, Robert Young, who suspected it held importance. During the dig, Fiona uncovers pieces of red pottery wedged into a rock. Unlike earlier finds, this fragment features a purple glaze along the rim and a dark glaze inside. When examined by Laird, he estimated it could date back to the 1600s based on its construction. He admitted he had never encountered such an old ceramic artifact on the island before. Redware was commonly transported between Europe and North America in the 17th and 18th centuries. But because this pottery predates the money pit era, its presence raises questions about who was digging there centuries earlier. The find suggests that although Lot 5 was abandoned for decades before the 1760s, it may once have been a lived-in area. More digging reveals another ceramic shard, this time much thicker. Laird identifies it as coarse earthenware, likely older than the previous piece and surprisingly well preserved. Reconstructing the full vessels won't be easy, but doing so could help reveal what activities took place there. The growing coin collection on Lot 5. Armed with metal detectors and determination, the Laginas continue their exploration of Lot 5. Working through a series of flagged metallic targets, Gary uses the detector, while another team member digs out sections of soil. At the second marked location, the detector signals a large, solid metal object near the surface. After careful excavation, they uncover an ancient coin, a promising start to the season. Its texture and craftsmanship resemble those of the Roman coin found in the same area years earlier. Hand-forged and weathered, the coin adds another layer of mystery. Soon, another coin is unearthed only a few feet away. Excited, Rick calls for his brother Marty to join the search. Before long, Rick discovers a third coin, each closely resembling the others, with the same patina and hand-hammered features. These early finds suggest that the coins may be connected to events that occurred on Lot 5 long before Oak Island became famous. At the interpretive center, Emma and Laird analyze the coins using XRF scanning and CT imaging. The first coin contains about 94% copper and 5% silver, quite different from typical Roman coins, which contain tin and lead, confirming that it isn't Roman, though still very old and clearly not a modern creation. The second coin is made of copper, silicon, lead, and tin, matching the composition of the ancient Roman coin found the previous season, suggesting it may have been brought to the island by the Knights Templar or early treasure depositors. This coin even features an engraved female figure. The third coin appears handmade, with a delicate woven-like pattern. Emma identifies brass elements, but the high calcium and phosphorus levels point to it being a French denier from the 13th century, similar to a lead cross found earlier on the island. The team wonders whether there's a connection between this denier and a previously discovered French barter token. The next day, the search continues in the pink flagged area of Lot 5. Craig uncovers an iron fragment that resembles part of a broken map, which is sent for further analysis. Beneath a pile of debris, another coin is found, the fourth of the episode, and experts believe it may also be Roman, as it shares the same handmade features and well-preserved patina. A metal strap found 100 yards from Lot 5 Gary, and the team didn't expect to stumble upon so much French history, but the evidence raises new questions. What brought the French to Oak Island? In episode 2, Rick and Gary continue metal detecting, hoping to uncover more coins. During their search, they find a large metal strap buried in the moist soil. Gary suggests it may be a decorative piece broken off a chest or box. Another theory is that the strap could be related to the coins, perhaps part of a container that once held them. Maybe the box is still buried nearby, or perhaps the strap and some coins were dropped during transport to the circular depression. Only minutes after recovering the strap, another metal object is discovered, leaving the team eager to uncover what secrets still lie beneath the island. A thick, heavy piece of iron was unearthed during the search. Gary pointed out that it resembled a rosehead-style fastener. Like other fasteners found on the island, it was old and hand-forged. If the theory holds true, this piece may once have been used in assembling a structure, possibly one buried beneath the circular depression. This discovery also raises another question. Why are so many metal objects turning up in this area when iron was once expensive and highly valued? The item was taken to blacksmith expert Carmen Lega, who concluded that the iron piece had broken off from something larger and might have originally been a mining or tunneling chisel. If correct, it means the tool likely belonged to whoever constructed the original tunnels, possibly even the treasure depositors themselves. Carmen estimated that the object has deteriorated over time and would originally have been about a foot long, which is the appropriate size for such a tool. The bow-shaped metal strap found nearby was also examined. Carmen identified it as a decorative strap, probably once wrapped around a chest or wooden box. He explained that this style was commonly used by the French in earlier centuries, suggesting the artifact predates the 17th century and may point to early French activity on the island. This idea challenges the belief that only one group of treasure depositors ever visited Oak Island. The French may have been among the island's earliest explorers, as the area was once a common stopping point for ships. Later came the English, especially after the conception period associated with Sir William Phipps. Carmen's analysis isn't baseless. Several other French origin artifacts have been found on the island, including the lead cross traced to southern France. Jack theorized that the metal strap might even be part of a hatch. He added that the find further supports the presence of French visitors, echoing Zena Halpin's research on Oak Island maps written in French and linked to the Knights Templar from the 12th to 14th centuries. Meanwhile, chunks of wood were recovered at a depth of 106 feet in borehole D5 N265. Wood is often used for doors or support beams in underground structures. Finding pieces this deep below the money pit raises questions about what they were part of. During ongoing drilling at the money pit, the team made a major breakthrough, one of the first significant finds from the east side of the garden shaft. For days, they drilled in hopes of locating a tunnel, structural remains, or treasure deposits. Progress seemed slow until they reached a depth between 98 and 108 feet, a zone believed to be where a tunnel might exist. At 108 feet, the team opened the drill casing and sifted through the debris. There, amid the material, they found a sizable piece of wood, evidence that they were close to a wooden structure, possibly a tunnel. Drilling slightly deeper produced another chunk of wood, confirming the first find wasn't accidental. The question now is whether the wood pieces came from the same structure or if there may be an unseen tunnel nearby. Another possibility is that the tunnel runs directly beneath the garden shaft toward the so-called baby blob zone. It could also lead in the opposite direction, toward an entirely separate structure. The wood samples appear to match other wooden fragments discovered near the garden shaft, suggesting they came from similar trees and possibly the same tunnel. At 105 feet, another core sample was extracted. This time, the wood fragments were smaller, and the soil was gray, an indicator that the drill had likely entered an actual tunnel. According to the drilling map, this location lies very close to an area suspected of containing hidden treasure. These new wood finds seem to confirm earlier reports. The tunnel directly aligns with the garden shaft. This suggests it is an original depositor's construction, not a later searcher tunnel. At about 111.5 feet, the debris contained numerous wood fragments. Based on their texture and composition, the pieces may have been floorboards or parts of a collapsed ceiling. The team decided to follow the tunnel detection drilling pattern to determine the exact direction of the tunnel before expanding the garden shaft. two wood samples, one from borehole DN12 and one from borehole D5 N265, were sent to Emma for comparison. Her scans revealed that both samples came from the same tunnel. The wood contained potassium and aluminum, but showed no traces of gold, silver, tin, or any other precious metals. However, it did contain palladium, an unusual find for such depth, unless the metal was used to refine or preserve gold artifacts. To Moya, this strongly suggested the presence of gold or even platinum deposits somewhere near, or possibly beneath, the garden shaft. Iron artifacts on the shoreline of Lot 5. Even though Gary and his team haven't uncovered the treasure yet, Oak Island continues to reveal its deep and complex history. Every rusted spike and broken tool might hold the key to a centuries-old mystery. In Episode 4, Gary and Peter conducted routine metal detecting sweeps near the shoreline of Lot 5, only a short distance from where archaeologists were working. They targeted areas flagged for having high concentrations of metal and potential clues. Gary explained that the flags were positioned so their relationship to the circular feature in the center of Lot 5 could be examined. He also noted that the beach artifacts they expect to find may differ from those discovered near the archaeologists' dig, but the two areas are likely connected. The shoreline may have served as a trade or drop-off point for ships transporting valuable items, supplies, or treasure. During their first sweep, Peter dug into a marked spot, while Gary used a shorter metal detector for quicker scanning. Before long, they uncovered something significant, an elongated iron piece with a triangular head and a sharp tip. Gary believed it could be a fastener, possibly a small cribbing spike. Such finds are rare in this part of the island, especially on Lot 5. Based on its appearance, it seems to be made from wrought iron, similar to other old iron artifacts previously discovered. It may sound speculative, but the possibility that this spike was once used in constructing either the circular feature or the nearby rectangular foundation can't be dismissed. Shipbuilding and wharf construction also took place on Oak Island, suggesting the tool could have been used multiple times during different building phases. Cribbing spikes are typically used to join two pieces of timber, meaning this particular spike may have been involved in shipbuilding, or even the construction of underground tunnels and structures. Not long after this find, the team uncovered another compelling artifact, an older iron piece with a distinctive opening in the center. The hole was uneven, but shaped in a way that would have fit comfortably in a person's hand. After examining it, Gary proposed that it was a handle, and the broken end suggested it once connected to another tool. But what kind of tool? Perhaps something used in digging or construction, or possibly an early hand tool crafted centuries ago. Gary also noticed its resemblance to the handle of a pair of Spanish scissors that Dan Blankenship discovered in an earlier season. When Carmen and Emma brought the artifacts to the Interpretive Center for analysis, metal expert Carmen Lega concluded that the item did indeed belong to a pair of ancient scissors. His assessment aligned closely with Gary's initial impression. Carmen further explained that the missing hardened sections were the areas where the scissors had originally been welded to the iron. He estimated that the handle came from a pair of scissors dating between the 1600s and 1700s. When placed next to Dan Blankenship's scissors, the similarity was unmistakable. Carmen added that the Lot 5 handle was even older and possibly associated with the time when the circular feature was constructed. This raises an intriguing possibility. Could this artifact point toward what lies buried beneath the circular formation? A rectangular foundation discovered near Lot 5 Episode 4 explores deeper mysteries in Lot 5 as the team uncovers a centuries-old foundation that may be tied to secret military operations. But was this structure built on its own, or does it conceal a more complex past? As the team continued excavating, they focused on a rectangular feature located near the center of Lot 5. The feature appeared intentionally buried. The estimated construction date is around the 1700s, near the same period as the circular depression. One major question remains. Were these two features built together, or was one created long before the other? Evidence suggests that the rectangular foundation was inspired by the much older circular formation. Analysis revealed that the circular feature dates back to the 1600s, approximately a century earlier than the rectangular foundation. Helen noted that she had never encountered a foundation like this in her 40-year archaeological career. It was so unusual that it almost seemed to exist only where they unearthed it. As excavation continued, Jaime uncovered a large piece of creamware similar to the pottery previously found in the circular feature. This particular piece dates to 1762. If her assessment is correct, the presence of creamware in both locations supports the idea that military-related activities took place on Lot 5 long before the discovery of the money pit. Jack expressed excitement at the possibility of finding intact pottery, believing that whole vessels could reveal more clues than scattered fragments. Over several hours of digging, the team recovered additional creamware pieces from the mid-17th century. Even more intriguing was the discovery of a fragment from a porcelain teacup, a luxury item in its time. The rectangular foundation appeared to contain an abundance of creamware, suggesting significant activity in that area. While examining the foundation structure, Helen and Alex considered that both depressions on Lot 5 might have existed long before Charles Morris divided the island into 4-acre lots in 1762, and long before the money pit was discovered. Helen determined that the rectangular foundation had once been a rock-lined pit covered with stones. The center of the pit was filled with loose rubble, and the top showed no signs of natural formation. The debris in the middle cast doubt on its original construction date. The surrounding areas were well preserved and neatly shaped, while the center appeared rough and neglected. This led Helen to believe that the foundation wasn't built as a standalone structure. Rather, it seemed to have been constructed around something, opening up entirely new possibilities about what the feature could be and what it might be hiding. Man-made structures inside Aladdin's cave beneath the money pit. Rick, Marty, and the rest of the team reviewed new sonar imaging that revealed possible signs of man-made activity approximately 150 feet deep inside Aladdin's cave. Steve pointed out that the straight lines visible in the data didn't look natural, and Paul agreed. He noted they would see the features even more clearly once Steve converted the data into a 3D model. Terry suggested that analyzing this opening might reveal how people worked below 106 feet in the money pit centuries ago. As the team examined the sonar images, Rick spotted something unusual and asked Paul to rotate the display. When Paul adjusted the view, Terry immediately noticed what looked like a slope inside the cave, likely composed of sand, and another slope covering whatever may be lying on the cave floor. Marty then observed what appeared to be a perfectly square wall along one side of the chamber. To him, the conclusion was obvious. There was something man-made inside Aladdin's cave, possibly connected to a treasure deposit. Using the latest data, the team focused on the western portion of Aladdin's cave, believed to be the largest section. Their primary goal was to determine where the cave originated. Marty was especially concerned with finding an actual entrance into the chamber. The experts assured him that if they followed the slope's direction and saw it continue, they were likely to find a path leading inside. The team agreed to drill in that direction. Rick was eager to find an access point into Aladdin's cave, convinced that there could indeed be treasure hidden within it. However, he reminded everyone that progress on Oak Island always comes in gradual steps. The specialists noticed a faint echo within the cave, suggesting a possible opening. Their plan was to drill toward the echo, lower a camera into the hole, and gather new information before deciding on the next move. Rick emphasized the importance of conducting a proper acoustic assessment to understand what the data revealed. He explained that they had two options: drill another hole downward or perform a detailed outward-looking scan. The team agreed, and Marty wrapped up the day's work. The following morning, the team resumed operations with renewed energy. They drilled a new borehole, designated L3.5, positioned strategically to collect more data from Aladdin's cave. At the same time, representatives from Dumas worked tirelessly to prevent water from seeping into the garden shaft. Over at the Interpretive Center, Craig Tester, Peter Fernetti, Jack Begley, and archaeometallurgist Emma Culligan met with blacksmithing expert Carmen Leggi. They examined intriguing artifacts found on Lot 5, including a metal strap and a heavy fastener discovered in the circular structure. Carmen, drawing on his extensive experience, quickly recognized unique characteristics in the items. He suggested they might be components of a 17th century chest or trunk. This observation sparked interest, especially since it aligned with stories linking Sir William Phipps to Spanish treasure, believed to have been buried on Oak Island in 1687. Emma had already run detailed scans of the artifacts, which revealed hidden details beneath layers of corrosion. The results supported Carmen's conclusions, indicating the clasp came from a small chest, likely dating to the 1600s. Another item, a simply made nail, caught everyone's attention for its primitive construction. Carmen and Emma agreed that it fit within a time frame between the early 1600s and the 1700s. Emma noted that its chemical composition matched that of pre-1800s artifacts, possibly even earlier. Their collaboration strengthened the credibility of the findings. After their meeting with Carmen, archaeologists Helen Sheldon and Moya MacDonald returned to Lot 5 to continue excavating the mysterious feature there. Now that rainwater had been drained, they focused on identifying changes in the soil, key indicators of past activity. As they dug deeper, they stumbled upon what appeared to be a significant find. Helen believed it was part of a barrel strap, and Moya agreed, noting the nail attached to it. The nail's greenish tint stood out, suggesting the presence of copper. Their discovery caught the interest of Carmen Lega, who happened to be nearby. They showed him the piece, which consisted of part of a barrel strap with a nail that had developed a green copper-like patina. Carmen explained that the object was made of two different metals, copper, which is corrosion resistant, and iron. He believed the strap was likely part of a barrel used to transport goods. The team immediately recalled earlier discoveries of wooden cargo barrel fragments found near the Stone Road, or Ship's Wharf in the swamp 3 years earlier. Those earlier finds suggested that cargo might have been transferred from large sailing vessels to the Money Pit area, possibly when the swamp served as a natural harbor. Carmen dated the barrel pieces to several centuries ago, adding to their significance. This raised compelling questions. Was there a direct link between the barrel strap found on Lot 5 and the previous discoveries? Could this support the theory that Lot 5 played an essential role during the construction of the Money Pit? The team began to suspect that Lot 5 may have served as a staging ground for preparations during that era. Helen and Moya carefully preserved the newly found artifact and planned to take it to Emma for further testing. Meanwhile, Jack joined them in searching the area, eager to uncover more clues about the island's hidden past. Back at the Money Pit, the team eagerly awaited the results of the core sample from borehole L 3.5. They hoped it would provide new insights into Aladdin's cave. Terry Matheson and historian Charles Barkhouse oversaw the drilling, which targeted the cavity at a depth of about 150 feet. Mike, a member of the drilling crew, reported that he had reached the cavern at around 141 feet, noting a small void before hitting bedrock and gravel. Steve confirmed they had indeed entered the cavity. The next phase was to lower a camera into the borehole to explore the chamber and gather crucial data. Many on the team believed that Aladdin's cave might not be a natural formation at all. Instead, it could be a man-made structure, possibly linked to the island's legendary treasure. Once preparations were complete, the camera was lowered into the opening. Built to function in low-light conditions and equipped with a 360-degree panning lens, it offered a thorough view of the underground space. The team watched intently as the feed appeared on the monitor, hoping that the depths of Aladdin's cave would finally reveal long-hidden secrets. Terry pointed out that Aladdin's cave might be the most compelling feature in the Money Pit because of its impressive size, nearly 30 feet wide, and because traces of gold, silver, and wood organics have been found there. He believes it may be the most promising location for an offset chamber, possibly even a treasure site. As the camera descended into the dark water of Aladdin's cave, the team watched the monitor closely, searching for clues. Despite the murky water, they scanned every frame for signs of tunnels or man-made structures. The camera revealed jagged edges, straight lines, and what appeared to be a damaged cave wall. The team paused repeatedly to examine what looked like the corner of a constructed surface. Excitement spiked when the camera captured what appeared to be a man-made opening, stirring up sediment as it passed. The crew, including Alex, leaned in as the images showed what could be an entrance or the beginning of a tunnel. One team member even remarked that it looked like a passageway. With growing anticipation, Alex called in Oak Island historian Terry Matheson to review the potential breakthrough. As the camera continued deeper, the footage showed a clear open space between two sidewalls, prompting more speculation. However, poor visibility made interpretation difficult, so Steve suggested performing a sonar scan to determine the size and layout of the suspected tunnel. The group agreed and began planning a sonar sweep from their current position. The next day, Dumas Contracting Limited continued efforts to uncover the secrets hidden in the garden shaft. Meanwhile, Jack Begley, Jaime Cuba, Moya McDonald, and Fiona Steele worked carefully near the shoreline on Lot 5, peeling back the layers of a mysterious stone foundation. As they dug deeper, Jack noticed loose rocks that required delicate removal. The team sifted through the soil, uncovering artifacts that suggested an important historical structure. Moya observed that the large stones they were now reaching likely formed part of a wall. Examining the newly exposed features, they speculated that these remains might represent a habitation or structure older than the money pit. Fiona stressed that documenting every artifact and feature from this area could help them identify the builders and determine whether the structure is connected to the money pit's origin story. Yet the excavation became increasingly challenging. The jumble of collapsed stones made it difficult to understand the original layout. Jaime admitted she expected a more preserved wall, but now believed the structure may have originally been taller and later collapsed inward. She pointed out interesting details. Soil on one side seemed sterile, while the other side hinted at more structural remains. The team expressed their interest in consulting Laird Niven, Oak Island's archaeological specialist. When Laird joined them, Jack explained their findings, including the possibility of a collapsed wall. The growing evidence suggested the structure was larger than initially believed. The connection between the dark, artifact-rich soil and numerous iron objects, especially nails, hinted at significant activity. Laird noted that magnetometer data supported the presence of at least the base of a complete wall on all four sides. This confirmation intensified the team's curiosity, especially since artifacts linked to Sir William Phipps had been found nearby. Meanwhile, at the money pit, Rick Lagina and Craig Tester met with Scott Barlow as the Duma team struggled to stop a mysterious influx of water flooding the garden shaft. Scott reported that issues arose while drilling into the shaft wall, and now water was pouring in rapidly, rising nearly a foot per hour. Roger, monitoring a camera in the shaft, sent up images showing water rushing in at high pressure, climbing up to 4 feet. Then he spotted something odd in the wooden wall. Behind a hole in the timber lining, he found a surprising cavity. Emerging from the shaft, he showed the team a photo of what looked like a small cavern filled with wooden timbers, stacked in a long void like 1x6 planks laid on top of one another. The strange arrangement raised questions. Was this connected to an offset chamber or a previously unknown tunnel? The find was intriguing, but the team knew they wouldn't have answers until they could get down into the space. Rick insisted that they enlarge the opening to investigate the cavern. But first, they needed to stop the water, an issue that felt all too familiar. More than 200 years after the first searchers battled flooding in their early shafts, the team now found themselves facing the exact same problem. In a way, the constant challenges are what make Oak Island so fascinating. However, the History Channel's The Curse of Oak Island has recently faced criticism after the team unearthed centuries-old indigenous artifacts. This discovery prompted local officials to shut down much of the excavation, leading to several archaeologists being dismissed from the project. Fans are now wondering whether the Laginas and their crew will ever return to normal operations, and what this means for the future of the island's exploration. During the final stages of a recent dig, the Lagina brothers uncovered an unusual artifact that ultimately halted operations on the island's 140 acres. For years, Rick, Marty, and metal detecting expert Gary Drayton have found mostly mud, wood, and iron tools, but occasionally they uncover rare historical objects. Their latest discoveries raised even bigger questions. As the team faced yet another obstacle, the Canadian government stepped in to restrict their excavations. Their goal had been to locate underground access points that might lead to treasure. But bureaucracy once again slowed the search. Near the garden shaft, the team believed they found what might be a hidden chamber. Doug hired Dumas Contracting Limited to dig downward in hopes of reaching it. The crew thought they had uncovered a network of tunnels that could lead to legendary treasure. They even believed one of their artifacts might be Viking in origin, far older than expected. But with progress came a new problem. Canadian officials stated that by hiring excavators, the Laginas now required a mining permit. Even though they insist they aren't technically mining, regulations stalled their work again. Not all viewers were surprised. Some argued that authorities simply do not want treasure hunters rebuilding unstable shafts on an island where 6 people have already died searching for treasure. One Reddit user pointed out that this isn't the first time the government has intervened. Back in 2021, officials halted much of the digging after the team found centuries-old indigenous artifacts, specifically fragments of Mi'kmaq pottery during Season 9. As they waited for decisions from the province, Marty noted that they would no longer be allowed to use standard archaeological techniques. The only lasting effect was even stricter rules. Because of this, the Laginas shifted toward newer, non-invasive methods, using advanced technology to map underground features and locate clues without digging. Still, the conflict with authorities continued, raising questions about whether obstacles will keep interfering with their search for the island's supposed fortune. A famous moment from Season 6 highlighted the unpredictable nature of the hunt. During the episode Voyage to the Bottom of the Cenote, Marty's optimistic statement, "Here we are in H8. We'll keep looking. What could possibly go wrong?" turned out to foreshadow difficulties ahead. Soon after, metal detecting expert Gary Drayton uncovered what looked like a top pocket find, but the team had no idea what was coming next. More recently, work in the money pit came to an abrupt stop when a possible bone fragment was discovered. The deeper the Laginas dig, the more intense their discoveries become. After nearly a decade on the island, they've never reached this level of breakthrough potential. Season 10 has offered some of the most astonishing developments yet, and episode 25 promises to connect even more clues. Fans can't help but wonder, are they finally closing in on the treasure? The upcoming episode, and the hits keep coming, continues excavations on Lot 5. Laird Niven resumes work there as the team searches for secrets buried beneath the triangular swamp. As they proceed, they uncover shocking evidence linking Lot 5 directly to the swamp's mysteries. Meanwhile, activity in the money pit leads to another major find. Marty, Craig, and Charles spend the week preparing for a descent into an 82-foot shaft. They weren't convinced a tunnel existed below it because one side kept sinking, but they wanted to verify the situation firsthand. Charles volunteered to go down first, though he needed specialized training before attempting it. Once he descended, he observed the shifting corner of the garden shaft, which led the team to consider digging deeper to search for tunnels. Marty, however, paused the plan to perform a thorough safety check after completing his training. Elsewhere, Alex, Rick, and Peter traveled to Italy to meet with Umberto Mossa, an expert on ancient coins and artifacts. His analysis suggested that some coins found on Oak Island may indicate connections to the Roman Empire, an extraordinary possibility that adds yet another layer to the island's mystery. This development came after the team identified one of the coins as Roman. To confirm whether the Byzantine gold coins they found were authentic, they compared their weight to another verified specimen. Meanwhile, Laird Niven's continued excavation on Lot 5 led to yet another interesting discovery. Rick pushed forward with his investigation near Nolan's Cross, while the team also focused on the mysterious circular depression in the swamp. There, they uncovered pieces of ceramic and bits of charcoal, which they believed to be remnants of a cooking pot or a campfire. In the war room, experts examined a lead artifact recovered from the swamp. Their analysis suggested it might be a lead cross crafted in France, adding to the growing theory that the French may have played a significant role in the Oak Island mystery. Using a probing drill in the garden shaft area, The team searched for signs of tunnels and recovered fragments of wood that could indicate the presence of an underground passage. While heavy machinery continued working, Gary Drayton scanned the spoil piles with his metal detector. He quickly found 2 large iron spikes that he and the team dated to the 1700s. If accurate, the narrator speculated that these spikes might have been left by the builders of the Smith's Cove flood tunnel, rather than by the Truro Company, who dug Shaft 5 in 1850. Later, in the war room, Marty Lagina and Craig Tester joined a meeting via Skype. They revealed that they had spoken with Jeremy Church, the geophysicist from Eagle Canada's seismic exploration team, who previously appeared in the show's earlier seasons. In Season 7, Episode 6, Church and his team performed an extensive seismic scan of the island's eastern half. The results of that survey have now been fully analyzed. The seismic data revealed a significant anomaly located about 60 feet deep near the southeast corner of the cave-in pit. The shape of this anomaly is linear, similar to the structure of the Smith's Cove flood tunnel, and appears to be angled toward the money pit. This finding echoed previous results from Season 7, Episode 2, when GPR specialists Steve Watson and Don Johnston detected multiple underground anomalies in the same area. Those scans revealed features at depths of 82 and 91 feet. Later excavation showed that between 99 and 109 feet underground lay a 4-foot layer of sand, evidence that only deepened the mystery. Oak Island continues to prove that countless anomalies and unsolved puzzles still lie hidden beneath its surface. If you enjoy these deep dives into the island's mysteries, be sure to support the channel with a like and a subscribe.